Welcome along then to round 15. Back again at Daytona. This time it will be under the lights. And here at Daytona, it closes down the first half of the 2020 season. After this race, we are 15 races down, and 15 will remain in our quest to the 2020 Drivers' Championship, as there are a few drivers in the midst of everything. James Shelley lost a handful of points last time out at Pocono. Luke Martin cut into that gap, but you still have Matthew Rodriguez, Eric DeMax, Jake Bassinger, Jeffrey Lynn, all of them right there still in the mix of this. And you even got to consider Ryan Acosta about 80-something back. He could still make a run at this, and quietly DJ Curtis has been very consistent. He's moved up to 8th in points, but it's still really anyone's game. But the championship fight will be on all the way to the season's end. We are halfway in the season now here to close down the second half of the season, like we mentioned. And you already see qualifying. Unbelievable. Cole Baker is on pole. Yamp Motorsports has locked out the front row, and really that would not be too surprising coming from last year and even at the beginning of the year. But Yamp Motorsports, they hit a wall whenever they had controversy happen early in the year, and it has hindered them a lot. But they are here to compete on the super speedway of Daytona, and Baker and Schwallenberg will line up alongside of each other and gun for their first win for the race team in 2020. Ryan Griffin, who is also winless in this season, he's trying to get a win. Griffin lines up in 3rd place. Jake Bassinger, who has got his 17th career win last race, won at Pocono, got his 4th win of the season. He starts 4th with Jesse Turner behind him. Chris Dodd, who has been on a well of a run of races in the last few rounds, he is starting 6th this afternoon. Dayton Weeks, Jeff James, James Shelley, and Zach Rogers. Wow, look at that. 8 Fords are starting inside the top 10 with 2 Dodges. So if that says anything in terms of where the engine manufacturers are in terms of possibly the pecking order, if you were to say, Ford and Dodge are pretty good on these super speedway tracks. But can the Chevys and the Toyotas upset this race for today? Richard Johnson was fastest in practice, but it's hard to judge on speed in practice. We're going to get down to start the 60-lap event here at Daytona. Happy July 4th weekend. Hope you all are enjoying a great holiday this weekend as we come to take the green flag. Yeah, Motorsports has something to be excited about. Their 2 drivers, Cole Baker subbing in for Dylan Young. Baker's first ever Sony Cup Series start. He is having a great Napa Truck Series campaign. And here he is behind the wheel of Dylan Young's Hardee's Ford. He is going to bring the field of 42 down in 60 laps of racing. We are back with restrictor plates on the race cars. How will this race play out? We are green flag. It's going to take a long time for these cars to get up to speed, and then when they do, it's not going to be like the last couple of races here at Daytona. You know, you can kind of drive all around the racetrack. You'll still be able to work in that high groove. That high groove will be a good line to run in. Daytona is very bumpy, so these cars, even though they won't have to lift off the throttle as much as they were beforehand, they might have to as the run progresses, as Jesse Turner slices his Ford to the inside of Ryan Griffin. Cole Baker on debut. Phenomenal. I've been impressed that this driver was able to sit on pole, and he led the first lap of tonight's race, but Jesse Turner looking to get the lead, and he's charging to the front. He's got Dejon Weeks with him. Dejon Weeks has a run, looking to the inside on Jesse Turner. Turner's gonna shut the door there. You can see double file all the way back. Vance Caldwell, Ian Dutta's in this race, driving for the Diego Yepes Incorporated team. Hannah Allen, Zayden Davidson, last race for Domination Racing until they are Martin Motorsports and Running Fords. And they have been talking about how they are excited about that move to go to Ford engine power. As some drivers are qualified farther back, but they felt confident that they could be a contender tonight. Drivers like Hayden Klein, Bobby Jones, they know how to get around here on the Daytona. They could be a factor for tonight's race, but they're going to have to climb their way through this field of race cars. Here he goes, Dejon Weeks, the inside of the 38 car. Dejon Weeks has had little to no luck in that 38 all season. 14 races in, 0 wins, and Dejon Weeks is out front trying to throw some blocks on the Turn Performance drivers. James Shelley, the championship leader, trying to get back on top. He won at Kansas, had a down race at Pocono, and he's trying to come back strong here at Daytona. He's up to second place. John Art in the number 3 Chevy could have won the Daytona 500 all the way back in March, but a pit call that went wrong by the number 3 and the 0 team threw them out of contention, and Art has closed the gap. He is into the top 10, and he is being challenged again by Jesse Turner. Turner got kicked up high. He found his way back to the bottom, and that's kind of where you need to be right now. As you can see, these drivers are not having to lift off the gas like they were in previous Daytona races because the restrictor plates are on. But as the tire wear falls off, you will see drivers and the handling come into play. Daytona is a very bumpy and abrasive racetrack, so you will see that come into play, but horsepower is the name of the game. And Ford, this has become their playground early on here all weekend. Dejon Weeks, who announced that he will be driving for multiple different race teams after this event. This is his last time out in Yant Motorsports, and CM Racing's 31 car that is now turning into a full-time entry in the 31 car. This 31 car for CM Racing will field Dejon Weeks in a handful of races, including a bunch of other races for their CM Racing developmental drivers. Scott Roush, who has had a phenomenal season in the Hardee's National Series, winning a few races in this 2020 Hardee's campaign. He has moved his way up to 4th place. He has a pretty fast Chevy. That car could be a sleeper tonight in trying to grab today's victory. And here comes Roush in the 31 Chevy trying to get after Fitzwater, but he had no help. Nobody wanted to go with him, and Rodriguez is going to get kicked high for it. And Dejon Weeks going after Jesse Turner. We've seen this out of Dejon Weeks. Dejon Weeks was very good in the Daytona 500, and he's always been very good here at Daytona. And Weeks is bringing Zachary Fitzwater with him up to the front, and the 38 M&M's Ford is back out ahead. Some drivers that are coming up towards the front. Eric DeMax, he is on the back bumper, his teammate of Matthew Rodriguez. And there's Anthony Marchese and his teammate of Caleb Hoffman. The Rodriguez Racing Camrys are slowly but surely clawing their way to the front. And the fastest car in practice, Richard Johnson, he's to the inside closing his way up. But there has been a big scramble further back. You see this field of race cars, they are bunched up from behind. So something has been amiss to bunch the field up. And Charles Sanford, does he have an issue or something? He looks off the pace. Here's a replay, and Charles Sanford heading off into turn 1. Yeah, you just see, he slows up by a lot in turn 1, and everyone's kind of hesitant to go by him. But a problem for the Red Bull of Charles Sanford is he slows and makes this pack a second pack now, and they're going to have to do some catching up. Whatever issue that Charles Sanford has, he is still out there running, and he's still holding up these guys. He might have lost a cylinder. So Charles Sanford, the winner out at Talladega, has had an issue here. He looks to be down on power as many drivers struggle to get by him right now, including Ryan Acosta. In the 45 National Guard Dodge, who is high in the championship mix, is losing valuable time to the leaders. So while that happens, Dejon Weeks leads over Zachary Fitzwater, Chris Dodd, Dylan Schwellenberg, Zach Rogers, Anthony Marchese having a great run with his teammate Caleb Hoffman and Matthew Rodriguez there. Jesse Turner, Richard Johnson, Cole Baker, John Arndt, Ryan Griffin, Scott Roush, Luke Martin, Eric Max, Eric Burton, Jake Bassinger, Kyle Collins, Jeffrey Lynn, James Shelley, DJ Curtis, and Brandon Crasta make up what is a 23-car breakaway. Focusing in on Caleb Hoffman, he has entered inside the top 10. Hoffman finished second in this race last year, driving a Turner Performance car. But Caleb Hoffman, this is his last race with Rodriguez Racing. Rodriguez Racing is kicking him to the side and making room for someone else. We do not know who that driver is at the moment, but the 20 of Caleb Hoffman having a pretty good run right now inside the top 10, trying to position himself to try and fight for the race win tonight. But further up, Yamp Motorsports is back 1-2. The field scrambling further back inside the top 10. Tire wear is starting to be an issue as you see cars fanning out, trying to get a run on each other. But Schwellenberg, he's got a run on his teammate to the inside. The front 6 drivers have not won a race this season. One of the drivers is not even a full-time competitor in the Sony Cup Series. It's the Hardee's National Series driver of Anthony Marchese. He's the inside of his teammate. And the rookie on debut getting squeezed up high. John Arndt getting past of Cole Baker. But Schwellenberg getting past his teammate. And whoa, here he comes back underneath of him. Dejon Weeks with the crossover at Daytona is going to try and take the lead back. You can see heading off in a turn 1. Look at the way the cars kind of dance off in a turn 1. Handling is an issue here. And it's good to see that these guys are having to lift out of the throttle just a little bit. What a move by Rogers further back to throw a hard block on Richard Johnson. But look at this move by Jesse Turner. He's going to send it 3 wide for 3rd place. And Jesse Turner, last race at Pocono, got made a fool by Ryan Acosta so many times. And that is a move of a champion right there. Turner usually never makes those kind of moves. But Turner to the inside of Dylan Schwellenberg. Here comes Chris Dodd in the 44 Hot Wheels Dodge. Chris Dodd has been on a tear in the last few races. Usually has not been the kind of driver you expect to run in the top 10 every race, but he has been able to be right there in the contention of a top 10 every race since Canadian Tire. And Chris Dodd coming into his own, and Anthony Marchese in the 54 really surprising me here. Getting a good push from Caleb Hoffman. Luke Martin's there with Zachary Fitzwater, but Marchese in the top 5, having a brilliant show at the moment. But for the lead, Jesse Turner turn to the inside of Dejon Weeks. And Jesse Turner out front again. But maybe not for long as Dejon Weeks does the crossover yet again. And Dejon Weeks, the inside, is going to take the lead back. And 3 wide further back for 5th place. Top 4 drivers are searching for their first win of 2020. Luke Martin breaking up a big scramble of cars inside the top 10 here that have not won in 2020. Zach Rogers is one, Fitzwater is another, Caleb Hoffman, Ryan Griffin, John Arndt, Richard Johnson. There is so many drivers in this pack that have not won in 2020, and they're all competing very well for tonight's race. And Dodd covers off a position on Luke Martin, but Martin going to the inside of Chris Dodd and for the lead again. Turner and Weeks. Jesse Turner back underneath of Dejon Weeks is going to take the lead away again. These two have been doing battle all race, it seems. Dejon Weeks goes back to the inside of Jesse Turner again with help from his teammate of Dylan Schwellenberg. Schwellenberg looking to move up to second. Zach Rogers has been putting on some big blocks today, and Rogers is pretty competitive. He is showing out in the 99 car as he's to the inside of Chris Dodd, getting pushed by John Arndt. Caleb Hoffman and Zachary Fitzwater hooking up to get past of Luke Martin for 4th place. Caleb Hoffman with a statement to be made He really wants to get up there and win tonight's race. Zach Fitzwater in the 22 Camry, also looking for his first win in a long while. Some drivers looking to break a winless streak tonight. Daytona Weeks, Dylan Schwellenberg, it's been a while since they've won as well. And Yamp Motorsports looking to get back on top in the series. They have some fast Fords, but the other Ford that is not affiliated with them, Turner Performance's own Jesse Turner, is very fast tonight. The front few cars are single file. They are trying to break away from the rest of the pack. You see this field of race cars starting to be a little bit single file, but you say that, and here comes Dylan Schwellenberg. He's looking to get Daytona Weeks. That is Yamp Power against Yamp Power. That's going to be a tough pass to make. Pit stops will be coming up shortly. We're expecting a one-stop race here. These guys are going to try and stretch it to lap 30. But Dylan Schwellenberg, again, he came runner-up in the Daytona 500. He does not want to be runner-up. He wants to come out victorious. He's going to push his teammate of Daytona Weeks to get back alongside of Jesse Turner. And these guys are trying to play catch-up. They're trying to run single file to run the leaders back down. Daytona Weeks passes Jesse Turner. Dylan Schwellenberg going to move his way up to second as well. Caleb Hoffman, Zachary Fitzwater making it to the top 5. Luke Martin, his teammate, John Arndt. Then it's Bassinger, Dodd, Rogers, and Griffin. Griffin's in 11th place. Then it's Richard Johnson. No, it's not Johnson. The 31 of Scott Roush. Contact further back, and there's a crash. The 31 car of Scott Roush let go an engine right outside the top 10, and the caution flag is out as the field races back to the start-finish line. And here it is. I thought it was Richard Johnson, but it was the 31 of I almost said Alex Bignacco, but that would have been Alex Bignacco's luck. The 31 of Scott Roush, though, had a car that looked competitive to try and win tonight's race. But he gets rear-ended by Anthony Marchese, who was also running really well. So the Hardee's National Series drivers are out of this one. They're out of the running for the win. Crash on pit road under caution flag. Dylan Schwellenberg ran into the side of Carson Scott. So everyone's trying to leave pit road and leave cleanly. But Dylan Schwellenberg in the 88 took some damage there, running into the side of Carson Scott. And there was a crash leaving pit road. Sean Harpole ran into the back of Vince Freeze. Ryan Acosta, Tim Foster, Zayden Davidson, all getting a piece of that. Here it is again. Sean Harpole leaving pit road, runs into the side of Vince Freeze, and then Acosta tries to miss it going high, but Hannah Allen was there, and they both nailed him. And Foster spinning around, Davidson clips him as well. Well, as we come back to the restart, it'll be just under halfway. 32 laps of racing to go. I wonder if these guys can make it on fuel. They should be fine. But Sean Harpole, Ryan Acosta, Anthony Marchese, and the 31 of Scott Roush, they are all out of the race. The top 10 restarting. It's Daytona Weeks, Jesse Turner, and what a move by John Arndt from third to cut to the inside there. John Arndt looking to put Charles Sanford 3 wide. Daytona Weeks has gotten around him on the high side, able to clear him and cut down in front of John Arndt. Dylan Schwellenberg digging on the inside of the Red Bull, trying to clear him. Sanford looks as though he is a little off the pace. They look like they fixed it up, but just not enough. Still looks like an issue with the 5 car, as he has been kind of hard to pass. And Jake Bassinger trying to squeeze his number 97 bang forward past the 5. And his Red Bull teammate of Richard Johnson also making a presence known inside the top 10. He's bringing Zach Rogers on the inside. And battle for second place, Dylan Schwellenberg, Yamp Motorsports, back where they once were at the top of the field. And boy, is this something that they have to be so happy to see right now. And Dylan Schwellenberg taking an opportunity at the front to take the lead back from his teammate of Daytona Weeks. Jake Bassinger, Richard Johnson. Very, very good run by Richard Johnson in that Red Bull Camry. Richard Johnson came close to winning the Daytona 500 here in 2017 and 2019. And Johnson is up to third place. He knows how to get around here at Daytona. He's never won the Daytona 500. Even though this isn't the Daytona 500, he has won a Daytona July race. He's looking to get another one of those. He's up to 3rd place. Some of these guys are just lucky they got a caution to begin with. Bobby Jones is back up here. Number 98 Ford, Jeff James, Matthew Rodriguez, a lot of these other guys trying to catch back up to the pack. They are right there now. James Shelley was in the main pack. He's been kind of hanging in his own in the mid-pack. He needs to get up there and race with his teammates. Cody Lamas had lost the draft, but he is clawing his way back up through the pack. And one driver that was competing up there with the leaders early on, Caleb Hoffman, is at the tail end of the field. And I don't know if he has any issues or not, but he is hanging back right now, not making any sort of threat. The faces up at the front have changed a little bit since we cut away. Dylan Schwellenberg is still leading the race over Jake Bassinger, Zach Rogers, Cole Baker on debut. I still am blown away by how this young driver has competed in the Sony Cup Series today. He's riding in 4th with Luke Martin. Another good haul of points if he can hang in there today. Dejon Weeks has dropped down to 6th. Jesse Turner's down to 7th. Richard Johnson went from 3rd to 8th. Then it's John Arndt and battle for 10th. Jeffrey Lynn trying to make a presence known back in the top 10 past Brandon Cresta. Cole Baker gonna try and pick up another race car. Underneath comes Zach Rogers and Cole Baker up to 3rd place, bringing teammate Dejon Weeks with him. But Weeks wants to get after another one. He's trying to get past his teammate, but Baker shuts the door. Cole Baker going after Jake Bassinger, and here comes Dejon Weeks. Not even going to work with his teammate. He's going to make it 3 wide. But for the moment, Yamp Motorsports is 1, 2, 3. And their super speedway program is nothing to doubt. Like nothing at all to doubt. They are so quick on the super speedways. They have always been super good on the super speedways. And they're trying to get a victory tonight. And Dejon Weeks, for sure, is one of those drivers looking for a victory lane because he is leaving this team and it is his final race for Yamp Motorsports. Dylan Schwellenberg has also been rumored to leave that race team. We don't know if he'll finish the season out or not, but Weeks and Schwellenberg have both been unhappy over there at Yamp Motorsports, and rumors of them leaving have been a mist for the last few months. Schwellenberg trying to go around the outside of Tip Foster. Foster throws a block. Turner nearly gets spun off the bumper of John Arndt. And Dejon Weeks trying to get to the inside of Tip Foster. He does so, but Foster's going to hold up the other Yamp car of Cole Baker. Battle for 2nd place. Luke Martin for CM Racing trying to move up to 2nd place. Martin, 2nd in the championship standings, has been very consistent. Turner with a move there. What a move by Turner to cut off John Arndt and make a threat into an opportunity pass there. Jesse Turner seems moved today. He seems motivated to try and get this win tonight. And you would think so with the U.S. Air Force on the hood of that 17 Ford. A very patriotic scheme if you could have one on the racetrack. Turner riding in 3rd as the field has kind of spread out a lot because of Tip Foster. We're going to run down the field real quick for you with about 20 laps to go. Dylan Schwellenberg leads. Luke Martin, Jesse Turner, Dejon Weeks, John Arndt, DJ Curtis, Richard Johnson, James Shelley, Matthew Rodriguez, Eric Burton, Eric DeMax, and then further back, Cody Lamas, Jeff James, James Sorfox, Zachary Fitzwater, Jack Halleck, Jordan Fisher, Caleb Hoffman, Chris Dodd, Ryan Griffin, Alexander Rowan, Dom Capps. Then it's Jake Bassinger, Bobby Jones, Jeffrey Lynn, Kyle Collins, Brandon Cresta, Rogers, and Cole Baker. They have got to be very upset because they had cars capable of winning today's race. Dejon Weeks bodies his way past of Luke Martin. CM Racing, along with the Curtis Racing car of DJ Curtis, are making their presence known up here with the Yamp boys. And how about that Red Bull of Richard Johnson looking for a pass on Jesse Turner? John Arndt, here he comes to the inside of Dejon Weeks. John Arndt and Luke Martin looking for redemption from losing this race earlier in the season at the Daytona 500. Dejon Weeks and Dylan Schwellenberg, they were equally as strong and could have won. Weeks ran into his own problems. Dylan Schwellenberg came runner-up to Eric DeMax. And DeMax, the Daytona 500 champion, looking to sweep Daytona this year. He is still in the hunt of this, further back in 11th. With this being an 11-car breakaway at the front of the pack, if we do not get a caution to end this race, to bunch the field back up again, this is going to be the 11 drivers that will contest the win. And how important is it that James Shelley, Matthew Rodriguez, Eric DeMax, Luke Martin are all up here and inside the top 11. They are title contenders for this season, and they are right here fighting inside the top 10 for max points today. And this is the kind of runs you need to have in the championship fight all season. But Dylan Schwellenberg, DJ Curtis, they may be outsiders in the title mix, but they want to punch a victory in and get confidence on their side. Dylan Schwellenberg has a big gap as Curtis moves his way up to second place. Eric DeMax has slowly but surely picked his way through some race cars. He's to the inside of John Arndt, but he may need some help to make that pass work. He's got a teammate coming, but Rodriguez may sense an opportunity to try and get two cars, or maybe at least his own car. He's to the inside of Eric DeMax. What a move! And Martin got hit by Dejon Weeks. Weeks pushes his way past the zero. Weeks is looking for a way back to the front. He got shuffled all the way back to 9th place. And Dejon Weeks to the inside of Jesse Turner. Turner and Weeks were so good at the early junction of this race, and they have to get themselves back to the front. They have a few cars in between them and the race leaders. Coming up to about close to 10 laps of racing to go. This field of cars is starting to spread out by a lot. Watch this heading up into turn 1. These cars will just slide into the corner. You see there, like Richard Johnson got a big run on Luke Martin. But they are spreading out. Tire wear is being a factor as the race progresses, but Dylan Schwellenberg is holding his own at the front. DJ Curtis, John Arndt are keeping him honest at the moment. Eric DeMax, Matthew Rodriguez, Dejon Weeks, they make up the top 6 with the championship leader of James Shelley. He's riding in 7th with Richard Johnson in 8th, Luke Martin 9th, and Eric Burton's moved up his way up to 10th place. Jesse Turner's down to 11th. But with 10 laps of racing to go, Dejon Weeks is to the inside of Matthew Rodriguez. They will run up on lap car again of Tib Foster. But this time, they're going to get around Tib Foster much, much better as they swing to the inside. But Foster, oh, he kind of pinches Eric DeMax there. And Eric DeMax is not going to be too happy about that. Dejon Weeks squeezes the inside. Matthew Rodriguez runs up on him pretty fast. Had to lift there. The front, at least the front 2 drivers for sure got around him a lot better. And Dejon Weeks is going to try and get around Eric DeMax for 4th place. Further back, the race for 12th, the lead pack cars here. Eric DeMax, or Chris Dodd with Cody Lamas. There's Jeff James, Jake Bassinger, Hoffman, Griffin, Collins, Silverfox, Fitzwater, Fisher, Halleck, and Rowe. They are racing to catch these lead lap cars. They are actually running them down. So they are not that far behind the tail end of the lead lap cars. They're actually spread out by a lot here, the leaders are. So 12th place on back has like a pretty good chance to try and run the leaders back down, but time is ticking away. Race for 2nd place. John Arndt swinging to the inside of DJ Curtis. I figured these two would have worked together, but Arndt senses an opportunity. He's going after the win. He's to the inside of Curtis. CM Racing has gotten 2 wins this season with Luke Martin behind the wheel. John Arndt has never won a Sony Cup Series race. Eric DeMax has Dejon Weeks behind him. They're to the inside and possibly in the preferred groove. 6 laps of racing to go. Dylan Schwellenberg is commanding the lead right now. John Arndt, DJ Curtis trying to power back on the high side, but it's Eric DeMax and Dejon Weeks that move up to 2nd and 3rd. But here comes John Art and DJ Curtis. They are back to the inside of Dejon Weeks. Weeks looked so good early on, but whatever adjustments they made on that 38 car, if they did any at all, they have just not been on it since that pit stop. And Dejon Weeks has dropped back to 5th again. And further back, race for 10th. Richard Johnson has it. Eric Burton's in 11th. But Bassinger and Lamas have ran these guys down. Ryan Griffin has caught a tail into the draft of Lamas as well. This will be a race for 10th place. It's the Daytona 500, but in reverse. And more cars on the lead lap. Eric DeMax trying to hang back and get a run on Dylan Schwellenberg. But with him hanging back, John Art's going to make a move. John Art to the inside of Eric DeMax. But Eric DeMax's car rotates so much better. DJ Curtis around the outside of his affiliate teammate. But Dejon Weeks is going to try and swing to the inside of him. Matthew Rodriguez on number 9 doesn't know where to go. Here comes James Shelley. He's got to run to the inside there. Luke Martin, the zero, is on the back foot for 2. Jesse Turner's losing the draft. But this is a race for 3rd place as DeMax tries to close on Dylan Schwellenberg. Half a second of a gap, Dylan Schwellenberg. Can he hang on? He is looking very good. Dejon Weeks looking for a move on John Art, but lap cars could play a role in who wins this one. Dylan Schwellenberg for Yamp Motorsports to the 88 Ford, trying to get his 2nd career Sony Cup Series victory. He looks so good. That car is so strong. But Eric DeMax, we know that Camry is pretty good at Daytona. It won here for the Daytona 500. And Eric DeMax riding in 2nd. It is so hard to close that gap with the restrictor plates on these race cars. With the restrictor plates on these cars, it is so hard to make a run for yourself. 2 laps to go. Dylan Schwellenberg is running up on Vince Rees and Zayden Davidson. This could be a bad time for them. Schwellenberg goes high. Gonna have to cut back to the inside. Will this be to Eric DeMax's benefit? Eric DeMax has closed. Here comes DeMax. He's got to run on Dylan Schwellenberg. Oh, and Zayden Davidson trying to throw a block there. Dylan Schwellenberg is going to have his hands full. A hard charge, and John Art trying to make something happen. They come to the white flag one more time around here at Daytona. Dylan Schwellenberg one more time around. Schwellenberg trying to win at home. This is his home track. He is just only a few miles down the road from this race joint. And Dylan Schwellenberg ahead of Eric DeMax, trying to best Eric DeMax. Eric DeMax looking to sweep Daytona. It has hardly been ever done. It is so hard to do. Dylan Schwellenberg further back, or actually DJ Curtis further back, trying to defend 5th place. Dejon Weeks looking for 3rd on John Art. Looks like he's going to get that one done. But further ahead, Dylan Schwellenberg for Yamp Motorsports. Yamp Motorsports is going to win at Daytona. Dylan Schwellenberg, a hometown win. Schwellenberg gets his 2nd win of his career and 1st of the season. Schwellenberg gets redemption. Gets ahead of Eric DeMax. 1-2, but in reverse this time. Dylan Schwellenberg beats Eric DeMax for the checkered flag. Dejon Weeks gets 3rd. 4th for John Art, and DJ Curtis finishing 5th. Luke Martin further back gets 6th place. And Matthew Rodriguez just barely edges out James Shelley for 7th to gain 2 points in the title mix. Shelley gets 8th. 9th for Jesse Turner, and further back, the race for 10th, Cody Lamas gets another top 10 run for this season. But this man at the front, Dylan Schwellenberg, has got to be exhilarated. Dylan Schwellenberg, a home win at Daytona. And Yamp Motorsports is back in victory circle. It has taken them a little while since Atlanta when Jordan Davis clinched the title. That was their last win so far. Yamp Motorsports, they have had a rocky season. And this, going into the summer break, is going to mean a lot for the now team owner of Shane Sides to figure out what he wants to do with the team moving forward and what the drivers will do heading into the second half of the season. Well, that was Daytona. 15 races down. Only 15 more to go until we crown a champion for 2020. So we'll have 3 weeks off for the summer break until we return for the 500th race of the Sony Cup Series at Chicagoland. And until then, we'll see you next time.